Welcome back to Forge of Champions 3. My name is JK Bray Matthews, and joining me here on the caster desk is Dan Orcs Harrison and Tiger Celtic Tiger Brennan. What a game we just had, gentlemen.
Yeah, it was intense. It almost lasted longer than the previous series in terms of in-game time. Like, it was a long slog, but one team, as Ox absolutely correctly predicted, really close on the time as well. One team had much better scaling, and as that went further on, it's just when you've such an AP heavy team, it's so hard to get through tankier members, especially something like Aatrox, which also pumps out heavy damage while being so tanky.
And has so much healing on top of that. I mean, that was the thing, is that you saw when his World Ender finally got procced in the last team fight, healed back up to like half HP. And then there's the GA. And then there's a Zillion if they want to use that on him as well.
I forgot they had the Zillion. Yeah, it's so much. Oh, that's horrible. We really are in the revive meta, aren't we? Like Kindred's back, so you know you have that kind of area of like immortality. Aatrox is very strong. I mean, you could argue Zillion's not particularly meta,
I would call
it worked.
He's not. I would call it the frustrating meta, and I think it was worse in stopwatch meta because that was when you like go for a play and there's like. Dude, everyone just turns gold and there's like 8 stopwatches. You're like, oh, well, this is fun.
I remember there was like a clip where all 10 people used stopwatch in a team fight, and it was one of the saddest things I've ever seen.
Everyone, like, everyone's frozen time, like, I'm gonna get you.
But I think that's the thing that happened with this game is because it was quite slow paced, but you know, I think, well, there were a lot of kills, but nothing really found any footing. And I think it's because it was so hard to clear out the whole of either team because Wind and Rain didn't want to overcommit, they were waiting for scaling, but also if you try to overcommit on them, Jhin was very safe throughout the entire game. He only died once. And then Zillion as well was not only safe himself, but could resurrect someone if he needed to.
But for me, I liked Misfits comp because they had enough to force things. The double cleanse made it a lot harder, but they still could have continued looking for plays. I think Wind and Rain played it really well to deny that, but at the same time, Misfits picked a comp that didn't scale as well. They clearly knew that because they were trying to make more mid-game plays, but just couldn't seem to edge out ahead. And that's where I would definitely be commending Wind and Rain, just stalling that game out at all against a team that had a lot of heavy CC.
Yeah, I think the big question mark for me was the Shen pick. I think we said that before, though. I think he should have pressured early, but also the way in which they picked that. One of the strengths of Shen is as a flex. You know, it can be played support at top. They picked it after Poppy had already been locked in, so you lose all use of it as a flex pick because you knew it was going to go support. And the thing is, you already knew that you were up against a Jhin, and you had to suspect it'd be a Zillion support because Akatsune has played that so much. I think it was just picking it into a bad matchup. And the thing is with Prosper is, traditionally he's been someone who has very good macro sense, but he said himself he's not been the best laner. But I think if you put yourself in a situation like that, you're not going to have a good laning phase, and they didn't.
Now, we do have a spicy pick still available, so do keep guessing away on Twitter, and if anyone gets it right, we will reveal it. For the moment, though, just keep using the hashtag #ForgeOfChampions3 and let us know whether or not you think you know what this spicy top laner is. That's our clue. It's a top laner.
Played by Kerberos as well, which makes it a lot more difficult.
Well, it makes it very difficult. We will be going through picks and bans.
Whether you know what he plays.
So let's find out whether or not that pick might come through, as Camille has been taken away by Misfits Academy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what ends up getting through in the draft. Obviously, we did see Wind and Rain go with a strategy where they didn't ban away that many priority picks, and then it let them get the Aatrox, but also let the Swain and the Talia go open. So it'll be interesting to see if they do a similar thing here, because they'll obviously want to get 2 power picks on the red side.
Yeah. Well, Pyke and Zoe have been taken away in this next section. Let's see what Wind and Rain are going to be looking to ban out as their second ban. And it will be the Aatrox. So they learned their lesson.
Yep. It makes sense. It's such a rough thing to play into, and we saw it when they were banning on red side. We were like, look, Aatrox has to be the ban here. If they didn't ban it, it cost them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in this situation, you know that Shikari is capable of playing it. You know he will first pick it. There are still a lot of power picks open for you to hopefully get on this next rotation.
Like our spicy top?
Denied that.
Well,
yeah, Talia, Swain. But that Morgana's been taken off the table, so Misfits not prioritizing it in the last draft, but seeing that potentially could have been a problem, which is a bit of an interesting one.
We've actually seen the kind of less the priority put on the Nocturne. For the longest time was a jungler who, you know, everyone really high priority. He did have a couple of nerfs to his ultimate damage, but it is weird to see we've had him banned once today so far, but he's made it through a few times and no one's actually picking him up yet, as it does look like Misfits will be looking in the Birdman and Rakan's going to be picked up.
Makes a lot of sense. You first pick the Rakan after banning Morgana. We saw in the earlier series Morgana was on a good answers. to the Rakan, and this is actually a really bad move from Wind and Rain. They banned the Lucian away, which means, you know, we talked about one of the strong bot lanes is Lucian Braum, another one is Morgana Kate if you want to counter those Rakan. Both those are off the table right now.
Well, you leave it open. Obviously, Akasune will be taking his favourite support, and it will be the Zillion first pick for Wind and Rain.
I guess they don't want to give away too much of the composition, but it is a bit of an interesting one to put this much priority on. You know, we talked about the Talia's available, Swain's available. I mean,
I just would have picked the Talia here regardless. They decided to go for the Gragas instead.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I mean,
I think it allowed them to make a lot of plays they mightn't otherwise have been able to, and I think that's why they're prioritizing it.
Surely, though, this is now the Xayah for Misfits. They want to pick
they're
themselves a winning
100% picking the Xayah in this rotation. It wouldn't surprise me to pick a jungler as well. I mean, I said that after you hovered it, so I can't really count as a prediction.
Yeah.
But, you know the enemy jungle matchup. Sejuani is a fair one into Gragas. You're not quite as good early, but I would say you definitely outscale in usefulness in a team fight. And now on Wind and Rain, they have potential to pick a strong solo laner and then ban away counters here, or they can just go for an AD carry and have a safe lane.
I mean, Wind and Rain are doing the exact same pick and bans that they had in the last game. You know, they've got themselves the Gragas, they've got themselves the LeBlanc, they've got themselves the Zillion. Now, Jhin is still available. Probably do expect to see maybe a ban come through onto it in this ban phase. Obviously, they can't get the Aatrox either because that has already been removed, so that leaves space for our spicy top laner, potentially, to come out.
But it makes a lot of sense. You pick the LeBlanc, and that means you can now ban away the counters. Ryze has come out as someone who can lock the LeBlanc down with the high mobility. Wouldn't surprise me if the Syndra got banned away again, or potentially they might have gone, look, last game went pretty good. We managed to punish the Syndra. They might look for that matchup again. For now, though, Misfits banning away the Kai'Sa is a bit of an interesting one. I feel like Kai'Sa Zillion would be a very fragile lane.
Only a little bit.
I think the big worry for them is we don't want to be outscaled again.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why going towards Xayah, Rakan, Sejuani, so far in this draft, they definitely have the scaling advantage. It just remains to see what else will be picked up.
Well, Dr. Mundo and Ryze being taken away by Wind and Rain, with that Kai'Sa obviously on the side of Misfits, like you were just saying. So Misfits are looking to ban out as their final ban, and it's going to be the Ezreal. So Jhin is available for Fax if he wants to take it.
I think one of the issues here with Jhin is there's a lot of long-range engage coming out from Misfits, and on top of that, Jhin is quite immobile. So although they have let him get it, and Fax is going to be happy with this, there are a lot more situations where they can punish him in this game. So I think Misfits say Jhin in an isolated situation wasn't the issue, or in fact, so far they said the only champion that was really an issue was this Aatrox, but then everything else was with our composition because they're happy with giving away all those picks.
I don't think that's unfair either. I think they had some bright lights, but the issue was that they just quickly fell apart as the game went on and couldn't find any aggressive plays. This time, because they're not so heavily outscaled, it should give them more chances to make it back in the late game.
It's going to be the Orianna Poppy picked up by Misfits. They're looking to lock in the final pick for Wind and Rain. And the spicy pick is still available. Let's see whether or not it's going to happen.
Yep, guess we just have to wait and see.
Back to our
Back
old
to
standard.
the old Urgot. Okay,
we'll see
cool.
the Urgot come out.
Do we reveal the spicy pick
I mean,
yet?
I think we can now.
I know. No, we're holding. We're holding on the spicy pick. We're holding.
Okay. We'll keep holding. I think Misfits have gone for a much safer comp. It makes sense when you're 1-0 down. They have fairly safe lanes across the board. They have fairly good scaling. So, you know, whereas Wind and Rain have gone for something similar, I think Urgot has more pressure in the top lane matchup against Shikari, but doesn't outscale as hard as the Aatrox does on that Black
Well,
Beaver
if you get a
spike,
pentakill,
well, yeah, that works.
It's one way to do it.
But I think it's going to be really difficult to team fight against Misfits comp in the late game. So, you know, I feel like Wind and Rain, the pressure's now on them to get the early lead, and I don't think it's going to be quite as easy.
Well, there's exciting stuff coming through into this game. I did almost think we were going to get the Jax there in top lane from Kerberos, you know.
Could have.
Good old special by him, just split pushing a side lane the entire time. But no, going to be looking in the Urgot. Pretty much an identical team comp outside of the fact that there's an Urgot in now. And gentlemen, let me know, what are we feeling? How confident are we feeling that Wind and Rain can 2-0 this series? Or do you think this is it for Misfits? They're going to pull it back?
I mean, I come back to, I really like Misfits comp. It's a lot easier to execute on. If it goes later, they have the easier advantage. Also, a lot of what Wind and Rain want to do is, okay, we need to get things going early. Let's try to hard engage. That becomes much more difficult if Poppy's part of the 5-man that they're trying to engage on.
And the thing is, Wind and Rain didn't show, I mean, I guess they didn't need to, but they didn't show a lot of life in the early game. It was very back and forth. They didn't get massive advantages. If the exact same thing that happened game 1 happens here, Misfits will end up winning because they outscale. And so I don't think Winner Rain necessarily are going to be able to force it and force the hand and secure that early lead. But it remains to be seen. I don't think the outscaling is as bad. Like, don't get me wrong, Misfits scale incredibly well, but Jin is still going to be quite strong in the late game. There
LeBlanc can still one-shot people.
LeBlanc can still one-shot.
I mean,
so there is some windows, whereas in the last game, it felt like even if all 5 members claps down onto Kerberos, you just would never die.
Yeah.
Now, we are actually putting together a top 5 plays from this week, obviously including tomorrow's games as well. So do let us know over on #ForgeChampions3 who you feel kind of deserves to make it to our top 5. I mean, there's a very obvious play, and I know exactly what you're going to say.
No, I was saying me, I deserve.
Well, you have to play to do it, mate.
Yeah. Do you? I mean, don't casters get some appreciation?
Yeah, the play-by-play makes it into the highlight reel with their voice. You don't get anything.
What if I lob my pen into that bin? Does that deserve top 5 plays award?
I mean,
you
can go for it.
I might give you a clap.
Yeah, you know
I mean,
what,
there's a TV in the way, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
this will be
how to
impressive.
hit the TV. Okay.
Alright, let's see if you can do it.
It was so
It
far off.
went in,
It was
it went in.
so far off.
It went in. What are you talking about?
We should have played along, but oh well.
Oh.
You know what? Actually, it's more. I enjoy putting him down more than I do raising him up.
Oh.
Give him a level of like.
I mean,
humility to him.
Unlucky.
What do you give me if I get this?
Because if I do it too high,
this isn't my pen.
TV.
Yeah.
You go over the top, in between the light and the TV, into the bin like that.
Definitely would knock down the light instead.
I would try, but this isn't my pen, so and I don't think.
I feel like you're valuing the pen over the light, and that concerns me.
It's got a layer of paper over it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
As rock paper scissors taught me, pen beats paper.
I don't think you're playing rock paper scissors right, dude.
Yeah, it's like I remember there would always be that person you playing rock paper scissors and they'd got like dynamite and you're like
No, it's the fireball.
You were the guy who got really annoyed by it as well.
No, it's rock paper scissors, not rock paper scissors make up something that wins against everything.
Ruining the meta.
Oh, ruining the rock paper scissors.
You know what?
Which is actually a really good way to describe this current league meta.
Aatrox is dynamite. He's just too strong.
Well, he did blow up in that last game. Not quite as hard as Sendo, I know, on the getting himself a pentakill. So this time we get ourselves another Urgot, and it's going to be Kerberos. You know, everyone calls him the Kerbegot for a reason.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
No one's ever called him that ever.
They did it EU Masters.
I don't think I hate the name. I actually think that was a good effort, dude.
That wasn't me. I can't even take.
Okay, well then
someone on Reddit called him that at EU Masters. Okay. You weren't there, so you don't get to know about that.
Right, okay, right.
I do remember he did actually play a really good Urgot.
Guess what?
He did play a really good Urgot.
Guess what EU Masters gatekeeping, right? You guys are cool.
You're more than welcome to join us, but I don't make those decisions. So
yeah, so this is a petition. If you'd like to.
Oh, what a goat.
Maybe.
Right. Well, we could potentially have 2-2-0s on our hands, you know. XL pretty quick over Barrage, but Misfits need to get this win, you know. They're not in that top running, and Wind and Rain got second in the first tournament. Didn't quite make it into the second tournament, unfortunately, but this is one where both of these teams need to get as high in this standing as possible if they want to make it into that top 8.
Absolutely, and the thing is, like, Misfits, if you look at the main roster team, they've been doing so well. It wouldn't surprise me if suddenly we saw some subs come into this roster, maybe with mustaches on, you know, like a hat, some glasses. Suddenly started playing a lot better. I mean, they are 9-1 in the LCS, so...
Yeah. Well, beaten by Fnatic last week. I was in the crowd for that. That was pretty cool.
All right, okay. Now you're LCS gatekeeping. We get it. You go places.
Just as an audience member.
All right, you're cool.
This guy, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say, one of the biggest things about that first game was, this is one of the first games we've seen in a while go properly to the late game.
Yeah.
Especially in this meta, it's really unusual. So we talk a lot about the scaling of one side. Normally that wouldn't be hugely relevant, but this series could well be another 40-plus minute game.
Yeah, I think scaling comes into it when both teams are too scared to do anything in the early game. So maybe step your game up, Wind and Rain and Misfits.
Well, you did hear minions spawn, so hopefully that picture comes up onto your screen.
I don't think that early game. I mean, I think they can hold off on plays right now, but
we want to see the plays if they happen.
I think they should both meet at the Baron pit, go for a 5v5 level 1. Whoever wins takes
5v5 dance off or actual fight?
Both.
Yeah, you do the
dance off first.
You make a line of wards, and you have to skill shot each other in the Baron pit.
And that's so funny if you do that on Mundo, and you like it's like Pong or like.
You just kind of West Side Story them though. You just kind of click aggressively at them.
I can hear Zaya in my ear. I really want to see what's going on.
Wait, she's
They're farm.
whispering sweet nothing
can
in
hear
your ear.
What?
Don't tell Rakan! Don't tell Rakan!
Uh-oh. Bird
Oh.
lady talking to me. I can hear her feathers,
Yeah.
which are very distinct.
They are.
Rustling them in your
Yeah. They're more like... Right. We are
Pretty
loading
sharp
through into
feathers.
the game finally, so you can hear the sound of the sharp feathers and see them for yourself as... No shenanigans started out the game.
There it is. Okay, you quickly saw them there. They were there.
We'll see this heated top lane matchup where Kairos will do 0 damage to Shikari and Shikari will do 0 damage back.
Yeah.
Until mid-game where Kerberos will start to do a lot of damage very quickly.
Yeah, so waiting for that point. Meanwhile, the bot lane shove has gone over to this double range bot lane, even though Rakan's secondary range, I'm not going to class him as one. And that doesn't mean they have the priority, and Nalty can pick up this Scuttle Crab. But across the other side, you can see Sejuani has grabbed one for herself, no big deal. Infernal Dragon, the first one to come up.
Kerberos is
again.
running the Glacial Augment as well.
Yeah, a lot of
the
people
Aegon.
do that on Urgot. You got like Righteous Glory, you get the AoE slow, and also like it means if you auto attack someone, they're slowed because he doesn't have that much CC in his kit. It's like if you do a lot of damage to someone, if you can keep them close to you, but it's about keeping them close to you. It's like the Darius phase rush. So obviously that gives him mobility. This denies yours.
Yep, and you've seen similar things. If you want to go a bit cheesier on Gnar, you've also seen Glacial Augments picked up there.
Yeah.
Same idea.
Actually surprising we haven't seen that much Gnar. I feel like in the place of Urgot, you could have viably picked the Gnar up. It's seen a lot of play in LCK recently. I think because of the flexibility of builds, you can go a higher attack speed like the Blade of the Ruin King build to punish tanks, or you can or dual bruises better, or you can go a more tanky out in a team fight build. But both these top laners, Sendo and Kerberos, shown they're happy with the Urgot in these matchups instead.
I mean, you can see the side of Misfits, the synergies there for the team as Zara Khan both running their new skins together.
Yeah, how cute. I wonder if they had the little signatures in the load-in. I think Rulers look so funny because it looks like a kid's signature. Like fairness,
Are you trash talking his handwriting?
in fairness to him, he's Korean. It's not his primary language, but it does look a bit, you know.
Maybe they didn't do it in Korean actually.
I guess the idea was they want to follow up in the in-game names, and
Yeah,
that's not really
yeah.
the Korean characters.
He did put a cute little star in it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
I
that.
think the star was bigger than most of the other stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was pretty big.
You know, it's respectable. Just like me, I'm the
He's
big,
a big
star,
star.
here.
Wow.
Yeah, mate.
I mean, that's why I'm in the middle.
Yeah.
You know what? We've talked him down a lot. You know, you can be the star.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be
earned
the star.
Yeah.
For sure.
Appreciate it. Oh, look, this synergized recall, great play from Misfits, does mean they get back to the base at the same time.
Wow.
That's cute.
That's some good analysts there.
That's the high-level plays we're looking for. This is that could well go in our top 5 plays.
Yeah, you know, obviously that is also an option. I doubt that is a top 5 play worthy play. Celtic Tiger, you're gonna peace out now.
Bye.
There we go. Bye bye.
Miss you.
I'm gonna go stand in front of the TV
in
as
Ireland.
well. Kerberos actually is currently half health in this matchup. He's getting bullied by Shikari.
Yeah, Poppy's just an OP champion. No, but to be fair, Poppy has gone for the area again for more trading power. I've seen a lot of damage come in here.
Yeah, he positioned quite close to the turret there. That could have been quite dangerous for him, but he's okay.
I mean, I think it is the sort of situation where Urgot does need to wait, because Poppy does well into these sort of more aggressive bruises because she has so much raw stats in the shield and her trading ability. She actually does fine, but once Kerberos gets that Black Cleaver, that's when he starts to take over the matchup.
Well, a Flick and Nolty maybe having a little bit of a trade. Belly Slang goes wide. Winter's Wrath by a Flip there.
Yep, no one can hit skill shots, so they'll just walk away.
Yep, everyone's going to walk away nice and happy. Let's see if Akasune can hit one. Oh, he can indeed.
Does manage to. That bomb will do about 50 damage, but it's something.
Kerberos has been healing up, but he's still very, very low. Wants to make sure he catches at least this wave before he bases. And Shikari with the hammer shot just constantly poking him low. And Kerberos missing minions under his own tower.
Yeah, painful situation B. It's actually pretty hard to CS on Urgot because your explosive leg charges.
Oh, Shikari
Brutal.
underneath the wall. Not going to commit for the kill. Actually takes a bit of a trade back, and it's going to equalize out the damage, but that was optimistic by Shikari.
I know it was dicey, but he didn't really get punished for it, so he's able to deny Kerberos from attacking those minions. And also from trading back, can't complain too much. Just looking at the items, we do see the Boots of Swiftness coming out from the Jhin. This is fairly understandable, as it means the increased movement speed. You can walk away from a Rakan's grand entrance, and actually you're able to sidestep it and not get knocked up. So you can see Fax and Akasune just want to play safe until they hit their level 6 and have the defense of the Zillion ult.
Shikari decided not to go for the base. Kerberos staying around for a little bit, wants to try and shove this wave into him. So Shikari actually will get delayed on his base timer for the moment. We're going to see what Kerberos is going to be looking to pick when he goes over for his first back.
Yeah, and both top laners just going to be sitting on his Doran shield for now. I think that's the thing, is that the second you go back, it's likely you'll end up having to use the TP to get back lane, and I think both teams don't want to give up that prospect of making cross-map plays. Slam!
Well, game's a little bit slow. We're 7 minutes in. Slow's probably not the right word. It's been controlled, chilled.
Yeah.
Kanzuki looking to try and secure himself his blue buff, but Nolty able to use the smite to secure it.
Yeah, and it seems like a small victory, but that's fairly significant. One of the things with an Orianna is in the early game, you can see already she's at about a third mana. If she's not able to get this shove, does mean that Crossman can start to roam this LeBlanc. And the thing is, any early game leads War gets, they can very realistically convert it into that Infernal Dragon. And that's the sort of thing you want when, you know, we talked about it before, Misfits have the scaling advantage in this game.
And that was one of the things we actually talked about as well yesterday in our little chat. When we were having a little chat about LeBlanc and how to play her in lane. If she gets shoved, she is very useless. She can't look for the roams. She has very little kill pressure because she has to deal with the minions. And she falls behind really, really fast that way. And denying the mana will deny a lot of that shove that Kanzuki's going to be able to do for a while.
Yeah, and it just shows how Nolty likes to play. It's a smart move. You give pressure to your mid laner, and it means your mid laner can then move and provide pressure to the rest of the map. If you go for a one-man gank bot lane, there's a chance it can be turned around by a TP, it can be turned around by a counter gank. If you free up your mid laner to move with you, even if that TP comes in, most times you're able to equalize and come out ahead.
Kerberos about to catch a pretty big wave pushing into him. He's got himself the fade. Shikari sitting on that Barmy Cinder, so bit of damage comes out from Kerberos, but he still needs to get that cleaver before he really starts to trade versus Shikari.
Yeah, I think now you're just happy to pick up the minions and chill. Again, this has been a slow game, but I say this favors Misfits, who are wanting just to delay this one out. 6 is available for both bot lanes, and you know the power of Hazaya Rakan at level 6. And this is where it gets difficult, because Wind and Rain obviously not happy about their being an Infernal Dragon, because that will just accelerate Misfits scaling. They ideally want to be able to pick that up. The problem is, Hazaya Rakan's so strong in skirmishes at this point in the game.
Junglers have just been hard farming this game. A couple of invades here and there, but no attention into the lanes so far. A couple of attempts, but nothing really hard committed for.
I think the big thing was that blue steal, and we said it was a good advantage to go over to Crossman by denying the enemy blue, but at the end of the day, it's not massively significant. Now see the Cinderhulk picked up by a flick. Nolty once again going for this AP build, so wanting to provide that early pressure does mean that he will be fairly squishy compared to this Sejuani. See both teams posturing.
Oh, Nolty sitting on top of a ward. They're going in. Shockwave lands onto 2. Crossman goes hurling back as he's chasing for a kill. Pops back in, and now they're turning around. Ultimate connects onto Fax. He gets popped up. 2-man knockup. Great chrono shift to make sure Fax stays alive. In comes the teleport. Shikari gets the headbutt. That's going to be one going down. And Shikari finds first blood. Kerberos misses the fear beyond death. And the curtain has been called a flick. Taking a couple of shots, but it's not going to be enough to really land a significant amount of damage. And Infernal Drake will get picked up by Misfits.
Oh, good ult from Shikari to disengage. No smite from Wind and Rain means they're most likely going to lose this.
Well, looking maybe for a little bit more damage. Crossman does have the chains, isn't going to land it. Now, Wind and Rain looking for a punish. Shikari forced to flash away. An Infernal Drake and first blood over to Misfits.
Yeah, absolutely take that. That is what they wanted. It helps towards their scaling, and they now, although it's slight, do have a gold lead. Shikari managing to pick up the second first blood off this series, both of them on him. Definitely going to help give him some more tanky stats in that situation. Has now got those ninja tabbies. An asset against Yeagot. You know, it just felt like Wind and Rain tried to posture a bit too aggressively. They looked for the pick onto a flick, who has been power farming, already had that Cinderhulk and wasn't going to go down too easily. Crossman tried to find the follow-up on a Kanzuki, but the Orianna managed to stay safe. And that's the thing, is that this Orianna is a very vulnerable champ, is now without her flash, so it was good for Kanzuki to stay alive in that last team fight.
Yeah, Crossman almost able to get it, but a flash from Kanzuki means he was able to make it out with his life. But even so, good punish and turn from Misfits as well, even though initially it looked like a bad engage onto them.
It'll be interesting to see what build Kensuke goes for here. I have seen instances where people go, oh, we are seeing
double
a gauge
distortion,
here.
they're throwing everything onto Kensuke. Remember, he's flashless, a two-man shockwave into the barrier, and Kensuke will be able to make it out. Nolte has to heal up with a swig of his drink, and now Afflict is hanging about. Doesn't actually have that ultimate available yet, but it's going to be up in a few seconds, and Crossman needs to be very, very careful. Does have cleanse.
Great barrier and great shockwave coming out from Kensuke, just kept him alive. Oh, we are seeing a replay. So yeah, Nolte waiting on this bush for Afflict. Afflict has just gone back to base though, picked up that Cinder Hulk. That initial resistances from his passive as well means he takes very little damage. You see Crossman looking for Kensuke, but the flash means the chain doesn't connect. And that's what turns the team fight. All the CC goes on a fax. Although the Zillion ult means they disengage, at the end of it, he's very low HP. And now it's not available for Nolte. And once he's down, there's no real chance of Wind and Rain challenging for the Baron. But yeah, something to talk about is we've seen Murktron's already picked up by Kensuke. It'll be interesting to see what build. Obviously, that's a Lost Chapter, which is likely to build into Ludens. But I have seen people go a build where they build a Lost Chapter for the mana and then invest in a Banshees. I think that could be a viable option when you're playing against a LeBlanc and a Gragas, just to provide more safety from the engages from them.
Would mean the pick potential from Crossman would be slowed down because you have to make sure you pop the Banshees, then step back, and hope you can look for the play. But looks like Misfits Academy are just going to be pretty content taking themselves down this tower. That'll be first turret blood going over to Misfits, and they have themselves a 1,000 gold lead now.
Yeah, we talked about scaling, but who needs scaling when you can get ahead? We'll see Wind and Rain trying to make the cross-map objective play and get this Rift Herald. They should get it. But the thing is, Rift Herald is a nice objective to pick up, but you have to convert it into something. They have the options of mid and top right now. Nolte is going to recall with it and hold on to it for now.
I'd like to see them use it top side. Mid side, sorry, so they can open up the map, unlock Crossman on the LeBlanc, make him look for these picks around the map. So it looks like Misfits do just have the inside track onto the lane, and Crossman on the LeBlanc hasn't really got the wave clear anymore, and this turret's running very, very low. Chrisberg's just been free auto-attacking away.
Yeah, can they get this? Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, they got the Rift Herald, but you lose 2 turrets bot, including an inner one. And that's a massive disadvantage for Wind and Rain. Even if they get a tower with their Rift Herald, they've lost out in that trade. And now, Misfits are sitting on a gold advantage. Doesn't pick it up there. Flak's just going to sit top of it. I don't think he's capable of doing very much damage at all to this Poppy right now.
No, he's just sitting on the BF sword and the components towards his Storm Razor. Once he's got that, maybe he can start to look for some more aggressive trades. Akasune is there, looking to try and just land 1 bomb, 2 bomb, misses them.
I feel like the problem with Storm Razor is, sure, it's a great item on Jhin, but it's not really going to do much to a Poppy. I think we saw last game when he got that Infinity Edge later on and the Rapid Fire Cannon, that's when he started to provide damage to the tanks. If you look at the composition here, it's going to be difficult for Fax to find windows to really put some damage down. And again, a big part of Wind and Rain's composition is, can you find the backline access?
Oh, double bombs will connect onto Chrisberg, but it's just going to result in a little bit of damage now. Rift Herald was cooled down in the bot side, and Kerberos did have the shove, so he's going to be at least able to answer for 1 turret for the side of Wind and Rain. You see it fall there. Don't think he's really going to be able to overstay and get that second charge out from him.
Yeah, we do see Afflict was waiting in the wings, but will back off. Actually, no, they're going for the trade here.
Kerberos is in for a lot of trouble. He's going to flash forward. Are going to be able to knock him off as he hops out. That's going to be the ultimate coming out from Afflict, and Kerberos flashes over the wall, but Afflict able to pick him up with 1 last auto attack. It's 2-0 over the Misfits.
Yeah, great CC chain coming out from the Poppy and the Sejuani. They managed to lay it perfectly, so Kerberos couldn't find an opportunity to flash until it was already too late. Riftel does manage to get the... I think he got the dash off in the next turret, but at the end of the day, only 1 tower going down for Wind and Rain. Oh, Kensuke just getting that. Isn't denied his second blue.
Which is big because of that shove as well.
Yep.
Now, Rift Herald's now been used in the bot side, so you can't use it mid. Can't unlock the LeBlanc through taking the turret down. At least not yet, anyway.
That is such a long lane bot now. I mean, I think Shikari's still fine in this matchup. The Black Cleaver has been picked up by Kerberos, but I think the gold lead has meant he's in an okay position. But it means that Shikari, you know, he's shoved the lane now. It's going to push in against Kerberos. He can now roam up to the river. You can see him clearing out some vision. Potentially, they could move enough members mid and pressure for this tower.
As you can see, Kazuki's a little low on mana, but because he was able to get that blue buff, should be okay in the lane for the moment. Kerberos does have teleport available soon, so Ocean Drake is spawning up, and Misfits looking to try and get themselves their 3rd turret of the game, as Fax actually could get rooted up, takes a lot of damage, and Nolte hanging around in the wings. Both junglers are here. It's a 3v3 in that side of the lane as Kerberos just split pushing away. Quite content.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This long lane meant Shikari was able to move in mid. They got a lot of damage on that mid tower. LeBlanc's not the best to deal with the wave, especially when the Poppy means you can't use a distortion, which is the highest level ability at this point, and also the best for clearing waves. Does have that Ludens already though. Again, not seeing what the first item will be out from Kazuki. Does he go the safer option for Banshees? Does he go for the Ludens for the wave clear and a bit of extra damage? Who knows? He has played pretty safe this game so far. Both summoners available, so it's not like he's getting challenged recently. He's now making moves towards the top side. This is the next objective Misfits are looking for. Gragas is recalled.
Yeah, Gragas recalled. Just spotted an open in Wind and Rain's defense, and Misfits able to get themselves their third turret, accelerating the gold lead up to 3,000 gold. At 17 minutes, items are starting to come through. Kerberos has the Black Cleaver. A 3-man stun though. Nakasune.
I mean, it looks great, but it means very little. Misfits getting a pretty significant lead so far, and again, they definitely have the scaling advantage. Things aren't looking good for Wind and Rain. Although they're not massively far behind, the fact that they're behind at all at this point in the game isn't promising for them.
Are able to get themselves an Ocean Drake as a consolation prize. The game is slowed down for the side of Wind and Rain, and Nakasune actually gets headbutted into the wall. That steadfast presence was insane.
Yeah, but the flash was a bit questionable. I feel like he was safe on that grounds, but I guess he didn't have the information. End up just wanting to play it a bit safe. And it's understandable. Misfits don't want to give up the advantage they have. See, the Ludens has come out from Kenzuki. I'm guessing he feels he is safe enough just to run with that item. And there's so much protection. You know, you have the Rakan CC, you have the peel from the Sejuani. Poppy doesn't even need to be with them to offer his, and they're going to just push down this already low mid tower. That's going to be a 4th to Misfits, and now at a 3.5k gold lead.
Yeah, they're very content at this point. Kerberos not able to do too much on the other side of the map. Has now got himself a last Whisper, so versus Shikari. Probably going to be able to do a pretty decent trade for now. Crossman on this LeBlanc had such a good game 1, and game 2 starting to fall into that hole which LeBlanc falls into. If she doesn't snowball, she starts to feel very, very irrelevant.
Yeah, I mean, you found some picks in game 1, but now it's so much harder. I mean, once Orianna gets the Banshee...
Oh no, Chrisberg! Blake will fit him in. Crossfair's got the quickness, and that will be a dead LeBlanc. Chrisberg's able to get himself a kill. Nolty throws down the ultimate, but it's a little bit too little. It's a little bit too late. Chrisberg now on the chase for Akasune. Going to get himself a speed buff and trying to making his way out of there. His Fax hanging in the wings. Kerberos used teleport, so did Shikari. So they both cancelled it.
This is the problem, is it's so difficult to punish a Zyra or Khan. There's so much safety between them and so much CC. They realistically can lock down Crossman. And even though he used his cleanse, he got caught out by the feathers. He's just going to push, but I don't think they'll be able to get this tower. It does mean that there's a window for Kerberos to push up though. We have seen him playing very far back because when he doesn't have vision on the rest of the team, he's so vulnerable to ganks. Now the Misfits just going to push in mid and get some damage here. And again, even though Wind and Rain lost a member, they don't lose too much. The Misfits consistently having the pressure in this situation.
You did see a hint of what Kerberos is able to do to Shikari, although he just outplayed himself. Shikari gets the headbutt into the wall, throws down the ultimate. Here comes a flick, pins him in place of the Glacial Prison, and Kerberos trying to stay alive. Could not do anything versus 5, and Misfits find themselves another kill.
Right. That was extremely questionable. I don't have any analysis for that. I think Kerberos...
I think his W propped the blast cone.
That might well have been it.
That was literally it. His W was on and he propped the blast cone, sending him over the wall.
Wow, yeah.
Celtic Tiger's wetting himself in the corner.
That's an unfortunate interaction. I guess Kerberos didn't plan for that one. Backfired spectacularly, but I'm glad we all managed to see it. Sometimes those things happen in League of Legends and no one's watching. Fortunately, all of you viewers were able to see Kerberos make a fool of himself.
Sounds like a pretty common phrase, that is. Kerberos making a fool of himself.
No, of course not. Never.
Well, we can see a replay of that play once again. I really hope it's this.
Yeah, it is.
Here
okay,
it is.
So he starts leashing the red. Yeah, and he's popped his W, walks into the blast cone range. Now,
that's so unlucky.
He puts himself in the worst place because he's so far away from walking round, and he gets trapped against the wall by the stun. I mean, I can only imagine the comms there. Bit of an oopsie daisy, let's say.
That's a real feels bad, man. Oh lordy. Rapid fire cannon has been picked up by Chrisberg. He's also got himself that Storm Razor. It's just the Zealand Storm Razor for the Jin for the moment. And Fax needs a bit more time before he's able to really put out what he needs to do for his team.
Yeah, and I think Misfits now just getting control of the Baron area. Not looking to necessarily start it, but by pressure in the area, they have potential to look for an engage. Khan, so much engage potential. If Wind and Rain try and challenge this vision, they can easily find a fight. And I think with their 3.5k gold lead, they're definitely in a position to win it.
Well, Kerberos without teleport actually did have to scuttle his way up towards this side of the map to make sure if Baron fights did start out, he was at least there to help his team. Gold in the lead for Misfits at the moment with 22 minutes on the clock, and items are starting to come through as well for some of these other members, for some of these frontline members.
Yeah, we've seen the Jin equalize on items, not talking about frontline, and we do see a Lord Dominic's Regard picked up by Kerberos, so lots of armor shred, but quite a few tanky items coming in from the front line of Misfits. And that's the thing, is that Wind and Rain, if they find backline access, if LeBlanc can get it picked, then yeah, great. But if they don't, they're going to be cutting through these two super scaling hyper tanks, and it's going to be a difficult time.
Need to watch Crossman, goes in with a double distortion. Featherstorm comes out, Blade Caller to follow. Pop Chrisberg's ultimate.
Yeah, and Chrisberg playing respectfully, did take a lot of damage from that double distortion. Does mean they have to be a bit more careful in the next team fight, but ult comes out.
Glacier pushing onto Nolty, not really the target that Misfits wanted to find, and now 2 ultimates down. It's not particularly what they wanted.
Swing and a miss. So I think Misfits just happy to...
I mean, they swung and they hit, but they just hit a member in the audience and not what they were looking to hit.
So, I mean, I would still count that. It's like when you're playing Dart and you're aiming for the triple 20 and you hit like the 1. It's like, it's not quite what you're going for. Or when you do an archery and you miss the target and hit your friend who's walking by. Something like that.
Have you done that?
Not recently.
Not recently,
Hey,
okay.
what are you doing tomorrow? Do you want to go do some archery?
What?
Do you want to go do some archery tomorrow?
I don't know where you can do archery in Barcelona.
Well, we'll find a place and then
I'm quite up for...
I'll nest some arrows in you.
I mean, so far, we haven't really done too much exploring. We've gone for food. Both times I've come, I've just eaten. I mean, the food here is incredible.
My opinion is the true culture of any place is the food.
It's the food. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I think we've embraced it by eating a lot.
I mean, like I said earlier on in the cast, you had 2 dinners last night.
I hadn't eaten all day. I was really hungry.
They weren't even small dinners, by the way. One of the pizzas was insanely big. And then you had like a steak pasta thing.
I hadn't eaten all day.
And it looked really good.
I know, but I hadn't eaten all day. I just couldn't not order 2 things. And we are getting distracted though. Misfits do pick up that ocean dragon. I wonder if an ocean dragon would taste good. Cooked dragon?
What?
You know, I think that'd be a good meal.
Okay, what would be the tastiest tasting dragon? Air. Fire would maybe be spicy.
Yeah,
maybe
true.
he'd be alright. Mountain's made of rocks, so you don't eat that.
Ocean
would
taste
be
like
really
seafood.
watery.
It tastes like seafood.
It feels like it'd be really watery because it's filled with water because it's what it spits.
Maybe.
And ocean water as well, to be salty water as well. Oh, you wouldn't want that.
I don't know, I like salty food to be fair.
I think Cloud Drake feels like it would be, you know,
Yeah.
tastiest.
I know that's fair.
Right, let's focus back on the game.
Yeah.
Tweet at us about that. We'll focus on the game for the moment. Let's see if there's going to be any fights coming through. Feels like Wind and Rain playing very hesitant versus Misfits. We have had ourselves a quick pause. It's just
we are going to quickly get a replay. And oh yeah, this is the gank before when Kerberos and Afflict did manage to... no, Kerberos managed to get punished by Afflict and Chikari. And it was just great CC chain coming out on Kerb, and he does flash in the end, but it's not enough to escape. And it's great how Afflict lines up the stun from his E, and then uses the stun from his ult, and then they knock him in the wall. Really solid there. And you know what this means? Perfect time to continue our conversation. What do you think?
I was literally about to say, Tyke, what Drake do you think's the tastiest?
I just heard this, like, okay.
Oh, there he is. We can't hear him.
Am I in?
Oh,
there he is!
Hey!
I mean, I
This
turned to you
guy.
and just said, I mean, immediately, Infernal Drake has to be the best one, right?
I mean, it's pre-roasted, you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I can't choose between Cloud and Infernal. Infernal feels like it'd be spicy. It'd have like a chili.
but I want that spice. But like,
Yeah, that's as soon as I said that, I was like, ooh, that sounds quite nice, actually.
yeah.
What do you think Baron tastes like in comparison?
Absolutely garbage. Like, that thing just, it's old.
It
it's
oozes.
not, yeah.
You don't want your food to ooze.
Yeah. What about Scuttle Crab? That'd be just like a big crab,
That'd be-
right?
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
lobster.
lobster.
Crab's good.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like Rift Cow will be really like like you'd lose your teeth trying to eat that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that feels. I feel
That's
like
very
it'd be hard to
Maybe
fish.
the eye would be a delicacy. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we are getting to play though. We do see Crossman tries to go aggressively, but the feathers are already set out. Crispig baiting for support.
I love that. He ulted because he thought he was
W.
going
Yeah.
W change,
Oh.
bit of an oopsie daisy, and then in the end, Misfits rewarded with the play.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and you just see the purple chain go out, and you can see it just in his head, just like, oh.
It's like,
oh no.
I made a terrible mistake.
I just want to go back to food because I'm really hungry. I feel Raptors would be the tastiest thing on the Rift. It's like chicken.
It definitely
right?
wouldn't be Krugs.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't be Krugs. Gromp's a frog.
I think frog. Apparently, well, frogs are delicacies in France.
See, I've had escargot, but I haven't had frog's legs.
Yeah,
But there's no snail. Oh, there is a snail.
But
on
no,
the Rift. There's also a duck,
Gromp's
to be
not
fair.
a frog. Gromp's a toad.
Oh, no, you don't want that.
Yeah,
you
you
get
don't want
warts. You get warts.
Yeah.
Blue buff's a big rock.
I mean, there's the wolves, but they're wolves.
Like
wolf people like
Brambleback
wolves.
is a stone, or like a wooden thing. Minions are just cloth.
Wow.
I'm just running everything through. It feels like Raptors would be the tastiest thing on the Rift.
I mean, I think it's between Raptors and Infernal Dragon for me. I feel like the Dragon could be surprisingly nice.
Yeah, but it feels like it'd also be quite like gamey. It'd be quite.
I'm just picturing, you know, when Raptors spawn, just like, I don't know, like an Annie coming over and Wing them, and then just them turn into like little chicken nuggets.
I actually just thought of, like, just imagine like an Ivern skin where he just eats all the camps.
that'd be a good one. Wait, you should have
I
said this
came
on
up with a
stream,
really
you
good
should
skin. I really came up with some good skin concepts, and now they're all losing out of my mind.
Yeah.
I like reverse Teemo. That would always be fun. You play as a mushroom, and then you place the little Teemos down. So, but you're completely quiet. But when you walk onto the Teemos, it does the little laugh.
Oh my god,
Instead of
that'd
the
be so
poof.
frustrating.
Reverse
I mean, it's
Teemo.
frustrating. You might as well play into that.
It's like, wasn't there? I'm sure there was like a bug, or I'm not sure which champion. It might have been Teemo, where like Teemo laugh was global.
It was Sad Robot Amumu.
Oh yeah.
So
Cool. We're
well.
going back into the game, so like you can stop fantasizing about food, and apparently we're in the bottom half of the screen, so you can talk for a little bit more.
Yeah. So
Oh,
Nope,
bye-bye.
there we go.
Yep.
See you later.
See ya.
been sucked away.
I'm gonna go stand in my corner.
Oh, we do see an aggressive ult coming out from Shikari just to zone them off, and looking for this mid tower here.
Gonna be a deadly flash. Crossman goes forward, gets a bit of damage out, but the turret will fall down either way. Again, Wind and Rain just getting sieged on, getting a bit of damage out, but not enough, and Misfits are able just to walk away. And the fact that they've also got that Ocean Drake as well means they're going to be able to heal up.
Yeah, I mean, it's early to say, but this seems like the playstyle of the Misfits of old. You know, they haven't necessarily got massive kill leads, but their macro has been on point. They're 4 turrets up, they have that Infernal Dragon as an advantage, and despite not having to find kills across the map, they're finding the turrets and using the vision control to get that. And again, this is how Misfits played last split, and it seems like they, again, it's one game, but they've started to find the footing and how to implement it into the modern patch.
Feeling pretty comfortable. So you can see that coming through, and this is definitely Misfits bouncing back from that last game as well. They're obviously, you know, that last game was very, very close, but they definitely kind of switched it on and figured out what was wrong and haven't let that loss get to them, which is a very big thing.
They made an easier composition, and it's interesting that this composition has worked so much better for them in the early game when it also had better scaling, and I think it just suits them a lot better. Afflict on a tank, he's in a safe position just to apply pressure with his team. Kenzuki's on a safe mid laner who's comfortable just scaling and wave clearing. And then they gave a lot of tools to Crispig and Prospere because the Swain Shen lane wasn't really working for me, but Zyra Khan is, you know, one of the best lanes going in this current meta.
Well, 4-0-4, 27 minutes on. Is there a timer on this game for Misfits this time where they are just unbeatable, or do you feel like it's still both teams have decent late games, it just favors Misfits?
I think it definitely favors Misfits, but I think it depends how the team fights go.
Or it depends if Crossman tries to get the assassination down, can't actually do so. Does force Crispberg to back off a little bit, but he didn't flash or he didn't heal. Kerberos continues to push slowly onto this bot lane turret.
I think from this point onwards, if Wind and Rain just hit the front line of Misfits, they'll never win. They need backline access. They need to punish the Orianna, or the trickier target is the Xayah. If they don't achieve that, I just don't think there's ever a point where they're going to come out ahead. Misfits have the lead, and if they fight front to back, they'll keep that lead.
Well, it looks like Misfits now posturing around this Baron. Kerberos continues to push into Shikari. Shikari can't do too much to him, or he can just go over the wall with a headbutt. Now Kerberos maybe wants to turn it around, decides not to do so.
I mean, that's the build that Shikari's gone for. He's picked up this Warmogs, so no matter what happens, he will always be staying up. So he trades with Kairos, trades with Kairos, trades with Kairos, chunks him down, heals up of the Warmogs, and then he actually has the pressure to push him off. Keeps that tower alive. That means Misfits can now play a bit more aggressive, knowing the Urgot isn't a threat on the bot side of the map.
Doesn't have that death stance that you sometimes see in the Urgot as well, so it doesn't have any life steal yet and has no sustain. Crossman needs to be careful. The flash shockwave instantly deleted Prosper. That was a good engage.
Yeah, absolutely, and this is what we want to see from Prosper. A lot more aggressive play coming out from him. They will head towards his Baron, and looks like they're going to start it up.
Well, spotted on a ward, so at least Wind and Rain know this is happening. No mid lane and no assassin available to them. Let's see if there's going to be any kind of contest come through from Wind and Rain. Baron's currently on 8,000 HP. Teleport coming out. Shikari looks to join into the fray. Kerberos hasn't actually pulled the trigger yet, and it's a 5v2 outside Baron. That's going to be the headbutt back onto Nolty, who's running very low, looking to delete out the jungler. He falls down. Now Nasha going very, very low. No smite available, and Misfits able to get their hands on it. Kerberos just turns up at the end.
Yeah, he TP'd in far too late.
What was he doing?
I don't know. He just opted to wait until the last moment. Really unfortunate situation. Misfits managed to get a second kill, and it's good Baron control. They know the only threat to them is this dragon. They can tank the Baron for a significant amount of time with that Sejuani. So they wait until the Poppy turns up. Poppy has so much lockdown. Nolty's forced to step in early, and he just gets shut down, and the Baron's picked up. They're in such a huge position now.
Kerberos might as well just stayed bot lane and taken that turret. Like, he turned up after the jungler was dead, after the mid laner was dead, and then was like, hey guys, I'm just going to throw an ultimate into the pit and see if I can steal it with that.
Yeah, it just shows a lack of coordination, whereas Misfits have been on point so far. Their Baron control was really good. The engage from Prosper and the follow-up from Kazuki was excellent. And they're now heading towards this next dragon, which I believe is an Infernal.
Kerberos is recalling while the Infernal's just about to spawn. Has been spotted out now. Shikari flashes forward. In comes the quickness into the Grand Entrance, and Kerberos is deleted out. Shikari able to find himself one as Prosper is chasing onto Akasune. Speeds himself up, but the Grand Entrance comes down, and Prosper is going to get the fight in the supportal combat. Blast Cone is there. And Akasune will make his way out, but he ran very, very low. And Misfits will just be gifted the Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and we talked about how much they had the scaling advantage. Now they have the double Infernal Dragon buff on top of that. I feel like outscaling hasn't even come into that. Misfits have constantly been ahead of the curve. And although they have the scaling advantage, it just means that Wind and Rain have no real chance of this game. Bar a miracle play coming out from Crossman where he manages to assassinate either Crispy or Kanzuki, it feels like there's no real hope for them from here.
Misfits definitely ahead of the curve over Wind and Rain, and Shikari's been ahead of the Kerberos in that other side of the map, just constantly pressuring him. And now we're seeing that Baron empowered siege. Crossman's damage is minimal at best as the turret falls down. Inhibitor laid bare. 31 minutes on the clock. A big wave and Baron buff to work with. Misfits in complete control. Decide to actually back off. Don't decide to go for the end. Want to play this safe and secure. And this at least gives a little bit of time to Wind and Rain, but they are on a timer now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that Misfits are in complete control. They can afford to recall, buy some items, get some HP and mana back, because they know time helps them. The more they scale, the better situation they're going to be. You saw Crossman did nearly 0 damage to those tanks, and if he tries to dive in onto the backline, there's a big chance that Prosper just locks him down and he gets executed.
Shockwave actually does connect onto Fax. It's not going to actually be followed up as he is able to make his way out, but Hurry goes down in the mid for Wind and Rain. It's a small win as Prosper actually gets popped back. He did pop the Shurelias.
Yeah, it was good moves coming out from Nolty disengage because Prosper really was looking, but now they're in a situation where Misfits going to push with this Baron once again. This tanky front line is just so hard to push through.
Turret's running low. In goes Crossman. Is going to go instantly back out with the distortion. Inhibitor number 2 under fire from the side of Misfits Academy. They are in complete control. 7-0. We're almost on a perfect game from this team as well.
Yeah, I mean, they drop a couple of towers, not a big deal. One of them was for the Rift Herald, one of them was when they were resetting. But they just have so much control. And what is Kerberos doing?
Kerberos, what are you doing? Glacial Prison, quickness, everything comes down, and Kazuki picks up his first kill of the game. Now Fax is going to be forced to peel away, as this is League of Legends by the book. Misfits Academy using his Baron buff absolutely superbly.
Yeah, and with one man down, it's going even more unfavorably towards Wind and Rain. That's how it's going to get pressured.
Oh,
Fax is knocked away.
This is it.
Goodbye.
You feel this will be the final push from Misfits. Kerberos not up for another 29 seconds. Inhibitor number 3 goes down, and Misfits Academy staring down Wind and Rain, looking to try and even out the series in this best of 3. They want to take this all the way. They don't want to go down 2-0. Nexus turret number 1 will fall down with an auto attack out from the Zai. They've got the headbutt in and they're looking for the glory kills. Nolty falls down. Chrisberg able to get himself the kill. Tower number 2 falls out. And Nexus is the focus. A shockwave on the fact. It's a double kill onto the Zaya. And down goes the Nexus. Misfits take the win.
Yeah, and it was just absolutely clinical. For the entire game, it felt like they were in control. And again, this seemed like the Misfits of last split, the Misfits of old, the one who just completely controlled the entire game out, shut you down with macro, and every attempt to get back in the game comes off as desperate.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at that top lane, and you had, you know, they took the whole mid lane, they come back around, and Kerberos sitting there, and I remember you were just sitting there saying, you know, League of Legends by the book, and I was there, League of Legends by what the, and then I just ended the sentence right there before it rhymed.
It just ended so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just dominating, and I think the thing was, we saw Wind and Rain clearly go out of the first game and go, look, we won the first game, clearly everything we did was right. But the thing is, their first game was a grueling close match that they only came out at the end of because they had the scaling advantage. In this one, they didn't have the scaling advantage, but they didn't change their composition much. And I think a big issue was going for the Zillion Gragas so early, and then on top of that, they had a composition that had flaky win conditions, but you saw throughout that they never really looked for them. There were no great roams coming out from Crossman, there were no assassination attempts from Crossman, and it just felt like they let Misfits take their base and they didn't even look for a single flank. And honestly, I have to say Kerberos really dropped the ball on that one.
And I mean, I do have to commend Shikari as well, especially in the early game, for bullying out the Urgot, and then from there was Kerberos just never seemed to find a footing in that lane, and it was a specific counter matchup he picked, so...
Yeah. And I think that's the problem with Urgot is, if you snowball, and we saw it can do great earlier today, but if you don't, it's just kind of there, and one of the issues as well is it's not the greatest split pusher. I mean, yes, he could have stayed bot and taken that tower, but he's not like a Camilla or Fiora who will take like 6 towers and your inhibitor and your Nexus.
Well, we do have another treat for you. You can see the damage from this game as we'll bring it up onto your screen.
Grim.
When Poppy does more damage than a LeBlanc, you know something's wrong.
Yeah, I mean...
Poppy does more damage than Jhin.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing, is that the damage is so low compared to the other game, and yes, this one ended quicker, but it just felt like there weren't that many fights. Wind and Rain would go for some desperate attempt at a play, trying to find a pick or a good engage, then they would instantly get turned around, and it's just the power of this Death Ball comp, where you have great backline protection, you have a great front line. If you don't find a way to get on that backline, you're always going to struggle.
Now, we do go to game 3 in this best of 3, all the way down. Now, what that does mean is the spicy pick could still come through in this top side.
Very much so.
It's true.
Could still have it, maybe.
And after that great performance from Kerberos, you might want to put everything on his shoulders to carry you through. 0-4-0 on Urgot. What a man.
TP's in after his whole team's dead, tries to steal Baron with a fear beyond death.
Clearing the wave top lane, just like, hey, what's going on? Oh,
oh, I'm dead. Yeah, it felt... Kerberos in the first game was definitely a massive win condition. Played very well. Kerberos in the second game looked like someone else was playing on his account. He was not the same player we saw in game 1.
It's almost like he's an inconsistent coin flip player. That's all I'm saying.
Wow, okay, calling him out. We're not even on our spicy thing we're doing tomorrow.
I mean, that's
yet.
the thing, is that it's a 50-50. In game 3, will it be the good curve or the bad curve?
Well, you got a 50-50 chance of getting it, so maybe.
Yeah.
Is there anything going to be changing up here for the side of Wind and Rain now?
I think you go back to something that scales a bit better, because clearly these games are stallable in most cases. I think, like, you probably want things like the Poppy that deny engage.
Yeah.
I think going for things like the Gragas, I don't think they should put as high a priority on it. I think if they went for something like Talia, they would have been had a bit of an easier time.
Well, we do have a tweet to bring up as well before we pop to our break. Yes, you're right. Quinn was the spicy pick. Good job, Draxel. Able to figure out who was our spicy top
Yeah,
laner.
Kerberos has been abusing Quinn in solo queue, and it's actually risen in the ranks in solo queue quite significantly. The increase of cooldown on TP means you can take Ignite on it, have some lane pressure and roam about. Obviously, if you play like Kerberos and go 0-4 on Urgot and do that on Quinn, not going to be great, but if you snowball it, can be a decent pick.
A lot of global pressure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to see. We do have one more game coming up before our first day of Forge of Champions 3 is over, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back with game 3 of the series after the break. See you in a bit.